Employees of the government's Building and Works Department have rejected a proposal by the Ministry for Building and Works on a new incentive scheme for them. An official Transport and General Workers Union ballot carried out this morning has resulted in 129 employees voting against the adoption of the measures proposed. Only 19 voted in favour, whilst 2 employees abstained. There was a 75% turnout for the vote.
The government's proposal had the aim of solving the question of allowances over and above basic salaries for the labourers in the department. According to the union, though, the government gave no option to the workforce by threatening the staff with the possibility of private contractors being called in if they didn't accept the proposed scheme. The T.G.W.U says this position is unacceptable to it now, as it was in 1995, when the minister, who was then branch officer, Jaime Neto, was arrested together with the entire labour force after protesting against the GSLP's possible privatisation policy.
Well, the situation is this, that the workforce, we were conducting a ballot vote and during this week, and whilst we were doing that, the minister was trying to implement a community projects to do the work of the wardens. In itself, people consider that they don't trust the minister, because they've seen that when he was a branch officer, he went into number 6 Convent Place and done the place up because he was against privatization. But what he's offering the workforce exactly the same. They have an ultimatum. It's a threat. Either they accept this work or the jobs will be done by private contractors.
So is the minister then, according to the workforce, subscribing to double standards?
The members are very disappointed coming from an ex-trade unionist. I mean, they would have accepted that from any other ministers which had never been in the union. But before he was their ex-branch officer, and now he wants to implement policies similar to the ones he was fighting against only 2 years ago.
There's this undercurrent bad feeling over the facilities. So doesn't the problem really stem from there before we even talk about money?
That's the main problem. I mean, the functionality of the buildings and work is very difficult. I think it works off 40%. There's lack of transport, lack of labours, lack of plant tools and machinery, lack of stores. There's a lot of things are lacking. I mean, that's why maybe it's unable to provide a service. And one of the things was in the incentive scheme was that to do the incentive scheme, you have to create a good atmosphere. And the thing is that the craftsmen must do their work on a voluntary basis. They cannot be forced to do other jobs than what is specified in the job description. They cannot do labouring. If a plumber can only do plumbing, but cannot do painting, masonry, carpentry, and that was what the incentive scheme and the minister want the people to do. And for that, they wanted to get paid less than the previous. There was a previous agreement which was well paid, and now he wants the same criteria and the same system, but paying 1/3 of what was used to pay before.
The government is already proposing productivity bonuses. Some would argue that that is enough money over and above the men's salaries.
Well, they are not against that. I mean, they are prepared to increase productivity, but on their trade, what they are not prepared to do is do laborers do other jobs. I mean, for that there has to be a payment because they are covering for understaffing. You know what I mean? That's the main reason. They say, that's parity. Parity means that a plumber has to do plumbing work, and is there 39 hours. That's his job contract. I mean, any jobs other than that has to be paid.
The union has announced this afternoon that employees in the Building and Works Department will only carry out the work for which they are employed. It says that the department is unable to provide a better service as a result of lack of manpower, proper transport, proper tools and machinery, proper system of stores, proper workshop facilities, and lack of proper health and safety standards. The T.G.W.U says that despite all these problems, the workforce is prepared to cover for these deficiencies by the payment of a fixed incentive bonus, which has been rejected by the government. The union suggests that a solution to the problem could be found by an independent party engaged to analyze the situation. This would have the objective of maximizing the physical and human resources available in the department.